Ms. Lawrence? Yes. Mr. Walter? Here. Mr. Wenzel? Here. And Ms. Wicks? Yes. 8 present and passed.
Thank you. Moving to board reports, foundation board report, that's all. Yes, it is. Last budget meeting, the last minute, on October 20, 2020. Thank you, engineers, for the Justin County Payment Fund. We sold 277 units for $1,385. This is Bruce presented the brand new company for the next time you go out to the third class, and Mr. Benson class for middle school. County engineers to award $3,148 and 97 cents to this grant request. Last week, I mentioned the foundation applying for the CARES grant. We were tentatively approved for $10,000 that we're going to apply for the application to receive that grant. We have our Christine Valencia, and we'll get dollars to work on that application. Since my last update, the foundation published our first newsletter indicating about the teacher grants and scholarships we have awarded. That John said it, and John Lewis will on the newsletter. We will be together November 17th at the board. And then, we have the process October 13th, October 21st, November 4th, all session with personnel and legal. Is there a student council for this meeting? If so, do you identify? Any student council this meeting? Doesn't look like any. Trick or treat down there at the middle school. Focus on there, I think. You got me. So we'll forward them from that next week. Some of the other comments. So that Stephen. Any public comment? Good. Okay. So September left, you state your name, your address, and your 5 minutes.
Amber Rush, 112 Justice Drive, Valencia, PA 16059. I was interested in talking about or learning about how negotiations are going with the teachers and the staff. It's my understanding that we are at 127 days without a contract for teachers, and that in August there was no negotiation sessions, and that they had some in November, and then recently some were canceled. So as a community member and also a parent of a child in the district, this is concerning to me, and I would like to know an update.
We did have a scheduled on November 2nd, which was this past Monday. Our solicitor got called out of town on a short notice, so we had to cancel that meeting. We were in contact via email afterwards with some proposal stuff, virtually, Mr. Conrad was going through email with them. We want to be scheduled for November 23rd, and we want to have any other meetings besides that. I think it's just conflict of calendars right now.
We did meet with the 15th of October.
Yeah, we're back on the 15th of October. We exchanged.
There was a contract presented.
Yeah, the contract, language back and forth. Over the phone. A little bit previous to that too. That's for okay. That was a school. Yeah, we have one support meeting, and we might have another one scheduled for that.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all right? Anyone else with other comments this evening?
Good evening. Greg Mason, 206 Cups Drive, Valencia, PA, 16059. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Alright, I just, in terms of, board policy, I think it's 903, that's coming up for a vote tonight. I understand, I think you added taxpayers as people who would be able to speak, and I completely understand that, and I agree with that. But what is the rationale behind limiting people from 5 minutes to 3 minutes? And again, I agree with the 30 minutes prior to the main portion being on agenda items. That makes sense. And 30 minutes, everything but I guess the time makes sense to me. Why go from 5 to 3 minutes?
It's more to get us in line with the districts around us. Their policies are about the same. And also our county is run in a similar fashion. So it's just to get in line with their policies.
What specific districts are you referring to?
We also provided more people on the street to speak. That is one of our rationales as well, along with getting in line with that.
I couldn't really hear you there. Can you repeat that?
I said it allows more people the opportunity to speak. We want to hear as many community members as we can.
Has that been an issue in the past? I feel like we had one meeting that I was very grateful you guys did go over, an hour over the scheduled time to end. How common is it that that's a limiting factor in disengaging people from being able to speak?
Yeah, we've had meetings before in person. When we're going to Zoom it does not seem to go as well as a in-person meetings. But with past experiences, we've had to limit the amount of people that can speak in public. We really not want that situation to be observed because it's pretty cut and dry, I guess. We're here and we don't really get in that back and forth question and answers as much, which is not what public comment is stated.
And again, I couldn't hear when I asked. The audio is really bad. What other districts do a 3 minute? Like, what were specific districts?
I would like one of those to attempt to what they did. And again, as Mrs. Wood was describing, I think the whole goal was, and I think you acknowledge this, Greg, that the beginning is more for agenda items, so that way those folks that are just specific to agenda items don't have to hang on after. But really the goal would be 3 minutes is, we feel plenty of enough time to somebody get their point across, but more importantly, it's not about limiting, it's actually about maximizing the number of folks. So if we're at 30 minutes, we can get more folks to speak in there. It's really not a negative, it's actually attempted to be a positive to get the meeting streamlined at the beginning, that focused discussion at the beginning on agenda items, and at the end, the 3 minutes will allow for more people.
Some districts require public to submit their states ahead of time. I know we propose that, and I'm just throwing it out there for everybody, although us, that could be another way to have people submit their information ahead of time, and make more concise, and we're getting a lot more people time to present their thoughts. But just throwing it out, I know I've seen some districts that do that.
So again, what is the surrounding district that you're referring to? Hempfield's not necessarily a surrounding district to us.
Just surrounding districts, I don't know that it matters if it's surrounding or not surrounding. To me, my point was just, that's the way some other districts do it. It's an option, it's not really enough policy to do it out there. I don't really know that it matters.
Yeah, I'm not the one to make the claim. I mean, somebody made a claim that they're trying to get more life where their surrounding districts do. So I'm just asking for the evidence for that claim.
Maybe it should have been stated in other districts and other county districts.
That's fair. That's fair. One other thing, so people in-person or electronic public comment sign-in sheet, where is that going to be made available?
My understanding is when we go back into person, it'll be the same sign-in sheet. We're going to cover those first, and then electronic and Zoom, you can just be like you're going out and raise your hand.
Okay, that's fine. So nothing's changing in terms of the Zoom meeting. We could just still raise our hand and be recognized in the order we raise our hand in, correct?
As of now, yes.
Well, after this policy is passed, will that still be the same? Okay, sorry, just making sure we're on the same page there. And then I will echo Amber's question about the teacher negotiations. I think all of us within the district can recognize the amazing job that they're doing under the circumstances, trying to juggle both virtual and in-person learning, amongst the pandemic. I get the financial issues with this. This isn't easy. I don't have the answer. I don't know if anybody does, but I do hope that the district will try to bargain in good faith and try to make these meetings happen. Is there any? I couldn't hear. Again, I'm having a hard time with audio hearing. What was the reason for the cancellation of the last negotiation?
Brown, our solicitor, was called out of town on a very short notice.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Take care.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment this evening?
Hi, this is Beth Ziegler, 2039 Golden Grove Drive, Mars, PA 16046. I just had a question and a clarification for the revised policy 903. Under the guidelines, it says all permanent residents and taxpayers. So if someone is renting in the district and sending their child to a school in the district, do they fall under that all permanent residents category? I'm just making sure that a person in that situation would still be able to comment at a board meeting.
Yes, they would be residents of our district.
Okay, I'm just, sorry, as an attorney, all permanent residents, the and is throwing me off instead of or. So I was just confused by that and wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment this evening?
I guess a comment, should it say full-time residents? I mean, I don't. Okay, that's fine.
I actually wanted to comment on the policy, but I didn't give it out, like, a public comment as a
You
parent.
can wait till you get the policy as a board member. Any other public comment this evening? Seeing none, let's move forward to the main agenda. In the agenda number 1. But this is one of the,
Did the jury do approval of minutes about the next week, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, we would like to look at the addendum. There are other things that we want approved this evening, just because they're time sensitive. With the personnel, we have several resignations, leaves, different positions that we filled. So we're asking for approval of 1 through 12 on the personnel agenda.
one of the board members had any questions or the personnel? So we can post that. We have to post that for us. So we're having the personnel addendum number 1, personnel. So I have a motion for amendment number 1 through 12, 10, 12. And the motion second?
Yes, I'm ready.
Kevin, second. Any questions, any comments? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no? I have a motion for under personnel number 11. Kevin, to
Christine, second.
questions, comments? Report?
I really like to see her to, be clear on the long-term substitute for 5th grade versus making any additional changes at this point in time in the standard. So I appreciate, I'm just so excited to see this actually on the agenda for approval this evening.
Anyone else this evening? Ms. Davidson? No.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Lynn? Yes. Mr. Marbury?
Yes.
Mr. Henson? Yes. Ms. Wood? Yes. And Mr. Price?
Yes.
6 yeses and 2 noes.
Bill passed. Moving on to agenda number 1 on the finance. A motion to enter. And a motion for agenda number 1, finance number 1. Kathy, can I move?
Stephen, second.
Any questions or comments?
This is Megan. I just wanted to clarify for people who are maybe reading this at home that these are not jobs that will be outsourced. This is simply just to fill open positions that we currently have, just like we currently have with substitute teachers. The district school is still fill these positions from what I understand. And it will help us fill all of these different positions that we're seeing that need to be filled for our kids.
And the contract specifically states that the district funds their own personnel, they're able to use those in lieu of services in this contract. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can hear somebody on a different venue this evening, but basically the comments about finance number 1 is the approved agreement with Key Solutions staffing for day-to-day substitute professionals. We basically want to make sure the community and our staff realize that is not an outsourcing type of a thing. That is simply trying to get more organizations to help us. We have a paraprofessional shortage. I know Mrs. Slaney, our business manager, is also currently reaching out to other organizations that may help us staff. We're currently using Delta T. They're a great organization, but they're pretty much maxed out on how they can help us. So we are reaching out to as many other folks that can assist us just to get our day-to-day paraprofessionals in place. We are significantly down right now, and we're looking to rectify that ASAP. So that's the reason for that approval. Regardless of this, we're still pushing for permanent positions, correct? Correct. Second, any other comments? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? That passes. So we'll session of this evening on all this stuff. Yes, you'll see the other finance items we're going to ask on the regular agenda to be approved. I can wait till next week. Under programs, field trip, possible trip, athletic trip. Under policies next week, obviously we're talking about 903, one that was just coming in about, in addition to the other ones shown there, 2 and 3. And then we just currently have for next week, 4 items under other. And that would be approving the Mars Cross Boosters Club, Young Republicans Club creation at the high school, and graciously accepting the donation from Pirates Charities, and then also another agreement that's under review to try to get us agreement with Charity University for their graduate students to work with us. So that'll all be for next week. So that's what I'm on the agenda. So we've got public comment this evening. Does anyone have any public comment?
I think my comment about policy
You may want to come up here. We are in the middle of the and I know this sounds not so good. So I'm assuming you better than here.
So I just personally, for policy number 903, I think it puts us at risk of not hearing from our community members as well as our constituents that voted us here. For example, the previous policy stated that anyone who is a parent of a student in the district is able to speak during public comment, and the new policy doesn't have it that way. So for example, if you're divorced and a parent lives in Seneca Valley, they wouldn't be able to speak during public comment on behalf of their child. And I think that's a little unreasonable as a parent who, you might not have control over which school district your child is in a divorce situation. And limits the time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, which I definitely understand and appreciate the reasons of why. But I think it's important to still continue to keep 60 minutes allotted at every board meeting. So say at the beginning, nobody wishes to speak about something on the agenda, then that 30 minutes would be rolled over into the end, so parents still have the same access to having public comment. The chain of command that we currently have, if somebody has an issue, you're supposed to go to your teacher first, then you're supposed to go to your principal, and then if that doesn't work, you go to the assistant superintendent, and then the superintendent, and once you've exhausted those options, you come to the board. And my fear is that by limiting public comment, we're limiting the people's ability to speak to us if they've exhausted all options besides via email, which we don't respond to individually. Lastly, the previous policies had that staff members were able to speak during public comment even if they weren't taxpayers in the district, and this new policy limits them from doing so. I've been told there are ways, for them to speak via their unions and things like that, but I think that people should have the ability to speak for themselves as they previously could. And I just don't, on this policy, it also has the president's able to stop people from speaking, and I don't want to ever silence them just because maybe we don't agree with what they're saying. So that was just my comments on 903, so next week I'll be voting no. Now I will offer the one.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that wants to be public comment this evening? Last call for public comment. So Beth, just state your name and your address.
Yes, Beth Zerbergen, 2039 Golden Grove Drive, Mars, PA, 16046. Not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I was rereading this again in the interim, and it says, the board requires that public participants be permanent residents and taxpayers of this district. I believe the way that is drafted, that precludes people who are renting and are not paying property tax from speaking at a board meeting. And if that's not the intent, then I believe that that needs to be redrafted. So I just wanted to bring that up. Permanent residents and taxpayers.
I personally would do that before.
Absolutely.
I can't hear it all.
I personally would be in favor of changing that in 2 and 4. I think that's the spirit of what we intended.
Yeah.
Here in that small little change, it would not be a material change. It would have to be posted or anything like that. But I would be in favor of the.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. If that's the intent, I think that makes more sense. And, nobody would be able to use it in the future then to preclude a renter from speaking.
That language is called Sunshine Act.
Yeah.
That's always been interpreted to be 2 categories, necessary residency.
That's a good question or fair point.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So we're just make that change. Make sure you just make that change so we get the final version. Okay, great.
Thank you, Beth. Anyone else want to do public comments here? Says Martin Monster, you're up. Say your name and your address.
Hi, it's Amy Nassif. I'm at 305 Pinto Place in Morris.
Kevin, you have 5 minutes?
Okay. I just wanted to thank the board for all of the action that they've taken to make sure that our children have options and can attend school in whatever fashion they feel is appropriate for their child. And I wanted to state 2 things. I wanted to agree, first of all, I was going to say the same thing that Beth and Megan both said about the specific wording, but you clarified that in the new policy. I think that needs to be more inclusive on who can speak, because we have a multitude of situations with parents in the district, and you need to be more inclusive and consider that before you pass that policy. The second issue that I wanted to speak on is our teachers. I think that they've been overlooked over the past couple weeks, and since school started, well, now we're into months. And as a parent in this district for 15 years, we have some of the most amazing teachers I've seen from kindergarten all the way up through the high school. The parents and the community give them tons of support. But this is extraordinary circumstances, as we all know. And I certainly hope that with negotiations and upcoming talks that we can listen to their needs and considering what's best for them, the children, and the district, and be all inclusive of that. So I appreciate your time, and thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Is there anyone else for public comment?
Who's on mute? Miller?
Looks like Mark Mullen.
No. Miller fan is.
Hello,
Good, there we go. Just say your name and your address and you have 5 minutes.
I'm Jennifer Meyer, 402 Brownson Road, Valencia. Just thank you for the work that you've been doing. Thank you, Dr. Burst, for responding to my question about the instructional model. I do just want to bring up the fact that, there are surrounding districts who are open and want to stay open, and therefore are moving to hybrid models when their incidence rate and their percentage is at the recommended level as PDE has provided in the early warning dashboard. I think it is, of course, great that you've provided that parent choice. However, it's not something that we can continue to just have, closures without a moment's notice either. I know that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to, occur to keep our children safe. And it's really important. And I thank you for doing that. But I also, as you consider parent choice, consider the fact that being open and staying open by adopting a hybrid model or following that guidance actually probably would help parents in the long run, rather than having to go through closures that are going to continue to happen as their incidence rates continue to go up. And then I also just want to make another plug for the teachers who are doing a fantastic job and making sure that they're being heard as negotiations continue, and hopefully, they aren't just out there without a contract for much longer. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment this evening?
Hello, can you hear me? This is Sharon McNicky.
Yep, just name and address.
Well, I'm for the Board Association, and I wasn't quite sure. Is this the end of the meeting, or were you going to go through and ask?
Public comment's fine, but we'll just jump straight to association. It's a perfect comment.
Okay. All right. And you can hear me okay? All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. First and foremost, we would like to thank the PTO for their very generous donation, their monetary donation to our elementary students. We would also like to thank Dr. Campus for his virtual assembly on dental hygiene and the COVID supplies that he donated to our classroom. We'd also like to thank Highmark for their generous COVID supply donations as well, and we are looking forward to their distribution throughout the district. On another note, 127 days ago, our contract with the Mars Area School District expired. The Mars Area teachers have been working tirelessly to provide our students with a quality education, both in the classroom and online. As a point of clarification, we believe MAEA has approached negotiations in good faith. We are both frustrated and concerned that the district has not participated in this effort as eagerly as we would have expected. Even though MAEA approached the district in both June and August regarding a negotiation schedule, little progress has been made. 2 out of our last 3 scheduled negotiating sessions selected by the district have been canceled, and the last time we received a contract proposal from the district was 7 months ago in March. MAEA will continue to reach out to the district in hopes that we can establish a more frequent negotiation dialogue that includes a level of respect deserving of both parties involved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the association? Seeing none, we'll move on to administration. Dr. Kurtz?
Nothing, I have nothing.
You have nothing to say? Dr. Smith? Ms. Sweeney?
Yes, I'm going to ask the school board tonight to have a finance meeting, and the sooner the better. We've got time to advertise and have it for next Tuesday, if that suits the board's schedule. The district is facing a financial challenge due to the number of students that have withdrawn from the district and entered into several other schools. We're looking at a $1.1 million deficit that I don't see a way to cover through the regular budget. The board's going to have to make some decisions on what to do with that. We did have some students return, but over 200 students left the district, even though we had options available. They chose outside of other schools. Some may choose the Morris Cider, which we are very thankful for. Because the initially charged by outside cider school ranges from $10,000 to $23,000, where our Morris Cider tuition is $3,800 for elementary and $5,000 for secondary, and then additional charges for special education students. So I'm very thankful for the parents that opted for the Morris Cider program and you are an outside cider program. However, we are still faced with that deficit and the impact that it is going to have on the 21-22 budget. Because those students are still enrolled, we have to account for them in the next year's budget, which is going to impact your operations for 21-22, it's going to impact negotiations, it's going to impact educational programs, staffing levels. So the sooner we meet and start planning for this, the better. I have some ideas, the one I report to you, but ultimately I'm always going to have to make some very difficult decisions, particularly for the 21-22 school year. The other thing that we would like to do administratively is just like I gave an explanation how it was short of cyber tuition and how it impacts the school district. We will be putting out some information on different aspects of the budgeting process. We get a lot of questions, particularly how can we not have money with all the growth. And we will attempt to explain that. Growth is actually working against us many times as people who really perform for children in the school district. And we have very low resident or commercial growth, which is ideally what aids the school district with revenues from taxpayers that have their children in the system. But right now we're primarily residential, and that's what we have to do. So if the board would agree to have this finance meeting next Tuesday, of course it will be public. I will information explaining the whole aspects of our finances that will have to be in closed session, because when we're over $1 million or $1.5 million, you're going to get staffing. And those discussions cannot occur in the public. It's simply not, there's the individuals impacted by it. So anyway, if we can have that meeting, I think we're going to meet at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock should be sufficient. Yes, they can get it advertised.
So we're going to only state certain advertise to the public that there won't be a lot of information, maybe just transparency, that's something that I've been for years. I think it is very important for the public, for the community to understand how our schools are financed and what the possibilities are or not. You know, it's, again, we look around and see there and some about, from the money, I think it's very important to understand exactly how the process works so people have a clear understanding of it. I think that's something that, before I got board, I totally understood. I think it's very important for the entire community as group to understand exactly how that process works. So I think if you learn, everything that should encourage people to get on and really understand, so the users, and understand exactly how our schools are financed and what the possibilities are.
We, as we have in the past, there's always budget question and answers, frequently asked questions available on the website for anyone that wants to check those out. And we'll be continuing that and possibly writing some general information on budgeting in our weekly communicator and trying to get the public to understand that growth does not equate excess funds. As a matter of fact, lots of times you see the most growing districts have some of the most financial issues that they're faced with. I know it does not make sense at all to the average person who sees these housing developments. But we're going to explain that.
So 6 o'clock next Tuesday, correct?
So we've called for the fire, school board, and then we're going to have that is all this time. We should understand how that's affecting us and what they're getting people back. The next year, and hopefully we're welcome back tomorrow. As the one thing about the side of the school is when the student withdraws, tuition stops. So we have had a triple of students returning, not enough. They're still out there at $1.4 million. If there is 10 students, 10 number of students, that's $100,000. That's a teacher, and you eliminate a teacher because it's only 10 students. So the state, when they set that funding mechanism, was clearly misguided because they said that based on our cost to operate, and whatever bottom that losing 10 students, we could generate $100,000 somewhere to cover that bill is beyond me. We're not even funded from the state based on enrollment anymore. So it's a very antiquated, unfair system, but we're stuck with it. Like every other school in Pennsylvania, and if you haven't heard it, it will be very common theme. In the budget process, districts, I believe Dr. Rhodes, all the superintendents, have been having the same discussion about the salary bill, really wreaking havoc on their budgets this year and the impact we will have on the so stay tuned. And, thank you. So we're going to
one question, one point that's a short form just attributable to the students that are not in school, correct?
Correct.
Just as such.
Yes, the rest of the budget, I know it's early in the year, but our regular 2021 budget, we're doing, it's very realistic. And as I know that we pass a deficit budget, but I have no reason to believe that we won't make up that deficit throughout the year as we have been every year. We'll come in somewhere around break even. other than this cyber issue, everything else, including our others, are coming in. And the other thing, the state's already warning about this one fall. So I can't even begin to increase any surveillance for the 21-22 budget. If you pay attention, it's out there, putting numbers out. I've already been short-funded on some of our reimbursements for the state because they don't have enough money. They just don't have it.
Thank you, Joe. So now somebody let's just call it.
Thank you.
So board comments, board members have any comments this evening?
I'd like to wish the girls soccer team that is playing as we speak, hoping you're doing well right now. And our boys soccer team is going to the Woodfield Championships tomorrow. So come and support our boys, including soccer stuff. Our girls still want to play. Our girls volleyball players are also still in the house, I believe. So I'm not sure. But they play next week. We should have the best spot. So they're not. I just wanted to thank the community for being understanding of the closure of the high school. It's pretty amazing to hear an entire 9 weeks about that happening. And because I want to thank the staff for continuing to make this work and being flexible and keep our kids educated.
Teachers that were distributed this week, right, and the elementary school, so that's thank you for the become kids shirts, and again, thank you to PTO for their $33,000 donation. And again, yes, thanks to everybody, the staff and the high school transition side, and the student there seems to be going well, so kudos to everybody, thank you.
And since we're thanking people, we should probably remind everyone that the Chromebook laptop case that was a very generous donation from Beaver Homes. And those were a little bit backward, but they're here now, and they're all distributed, and then ceiling lighting out look really nice, so we can figure that out for that as well.
And then just wanted to meeting the teacher negotiation staff on November 23rd. So it's unfortunate that the meeting was scheduled to take place earlier this week did not occur, but last week. So the meeting was scheduled was canceled. It's unfortunate. We certainly didn't foresee that coming. There was nothing underwritten about that. No one should read anything else into that other than we have very excited and continue to discuss and hopefully get closer to the project.
Absolutely.
So the motion to adjourn.
Christine,
All in favor? So we'll adjourn. Thank you very much.